The programs that were used to create this video are Camtasia Studio 5 and Microsoft Windows Movie Maker. Hello and welcome to XNA tutorial number 6. This is part of the Paddles game, and what we're going to cover in this tutorial is input and possibly some changes to the screen manager and menu screen. So, let's get started. I have the text tutorial up here for you to follow me. Now, let's discuss a little bit about keyboard. Using the keyboard for input should always be a first priority on a new game developer. There is no need to handle various inputs for your first game. Keyboard should be good enough. You do not need to handle gamepads or joysticks or anything else other than a keyboard. What we'll do for any input is to gather a screenshot of their state. And what that state does is it captures what keys were pressed. If we have a gamepad, we can find out what buttons we have pressed. If we have a joystick, we can gather the joystick vectors of that game loop. So for keyboard only, a keyboard snapshot just holds what keys have been pressed or not. Now, a keyboard class. As we stated earlier, our handling for input will be very basic for this tutorial. I will also only cover keyboard for now, but in the next tutorial, or next game, we will add gamepad support. So if you wish to follow the next game and then come back and edit this game, you can do it to add gamepad support. It'll be a fun little project to do. So now, let's start building the keyboard class. Use the following bullets to help you build it. We need to have 3 using statements, using Microsoft.xna.framework.input, using Microsoft.xna.framework, and using paddles.tutorial.gamescreens. Make the class a public class, which we've already done. For fields and attributes, we need a keyboard state object called current keyboard state and another called last keyboard state. Now for properties, we need to create a property for each action. Menu up, menu down, move up, move down, pause we do not need, and so on. These properties will only have a get inside of them, and inside of the get paragraph we will call a method to determine if that specific key to perform that action has been pressed. If it has, that method returns true, and we'll know if we can perform an appropriate action. Now methods. We need to have an update method that will set the last keyboard state as a current keyboard state object, and then we need to get the current loop's keyboard state. Now we need another method to get a key press, and that determines if a key has been pressed. A parameter is type keys, and the method to determine if a key is pressed is this line here, current keyboard state dot is key down, and we pass it the appropriate key. The final method we need is new key press, and it will determine if a key is newly pressed or not. And what we mean by newly pressed is if it has been pressed this game loop but up last game loop. The reason we need this method is to eliminate error in our key pressing. If you press a key without this method, you may notice a lot of errors might occur. Like in a menu, if we press down, we want it to go down 1, right? Not 20. If you press it longer than 16.66 milliseconds, it will jump more than just 1. So we need to determine if it's a new key press, and if it is, we move the selected menu item down. If it is not, we just leave the current menu selection. So let's build the keyboard class. There it is. Okay. So now we need the using Microsoft .xna .framework. Copy that. Paste that framework dot input. And we didn't really need to paste that, but oh well. Using paddles tutorial dot game screens. Now the keyboard state is going to be public. Capital C current keyboard state, and a last keyboard state. Now, we need to add the actions for each button we have set in our mind for our game. So we need to create properties for each action. Quit is an action. Get. I'll fill that in. Well, we can fill that in right now. So get, we need to return is new key press. We pass it keys dot escape. And let's go ahead and have it auto generate that method for us. Another property is menu selection, public bool menu selection, public bool menu selection, get return is new key press, keys dot enter. Another property for up and down, public bool up, get return. Wait, this one will be different, so we'll up, or this one and down will be different. The reason is because for our menu we wanted to determine if it's a new key press, but for our game we want it to be a key press regardless if it's new or not. So we can add if statements inside of a get section of a property, and that if will get the information from screen manager dot game state is equal to game state dot menu. If our game state is menu, we need to return is new key press as keys dot up. Else we return is key press, and we pass a keys dot up, and we'll have it auto generate that method for us as well. Now we need another